It was also his first film, so it was like a first for all of us. And this film got selected into the Toronto International Film Festival, which is one of the biggest film festivals in the world. That was like it was, when we got the mail of, would you like your film to be screened in the festival, I'm like, wow. Is that even a question? You know, so what that did to me and all my friends, every single person that was a part of that film, I usually describe it as us not taking the stairs up. It just like threw us into the elevator, and from nobody, we all just became like an item in the industry, all of us. Like even the actors in the film went on to win AMVCAs for it and stuff. It got selected and screened in over 30 film festivals, major film festivals in the world, over 20 awards. So it was a game changer at the time because it was also a ghetto film, and we got to put it in the cinema. Because when we made the film, we didn't even know, we just wanted to make a film. We just wanted to make a film that we would have fun, that we would do in our own terms. So it was a ghetto film, and at the time, cinemas were more of glossy films. And when we watched the first cut, we were like, this film is really good, let's take it to the cinema. And we're like, but they won't take it. I'm like, well, let's just take it. You know, so I sent it to a couple of friends that had cinemas then, and they were like, this film is a ghetto film.
Interesting question, but I think first is, you talked about strategy. I think first is understanding what film that you're making, what platforms. I know there's a lot of stumbling, but it's okay. In respect to, like she said, oh, let's just go try, I mean, when you're starting, you can test, just keep testing, you know, try it, you know, send it here, send it there. At that point, you don't have much to lose, you know. But as you kind of grow in the industry, you'd understand that you can be a lot more strategic, you know. You can actually plan and build your way up in the industry, which includes things like, before you make a film, you understand the process of, not the production process. I mean, of course you should understand that, but you should understand how you're going to make money from the film, okay? So if you're making a film for the digital space, for instance, say you're making a film for YouTube, right? Then you understand that you're making it for YouTube, all right? Or if you're making it for the cinemas, or you're making it for, you know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that you only make a film specifically for only one platform, but at least understand where you're going to get your traction from, all right? I think when you do that, at that point, it could determine, and I'll use the word could, you know, it could determine your budget, right, for everything. It should determine your budget for making the film itself. In terms of, for instance, if you're going cinema at this time, or if you want to start with cinema, then, or you want to work with Netflix or Prime Video or any one of those, let's see, it should determine the budget that you would have to put together, or at least anticipate for each of those platforms. So if you
The answer to that question is, every film has like a pathway, right? So like for me, I have a couple of, you know, stuff on my slate, and each of the film on that slate has a totally different pathway. They don't all have the same pathways, right? For instance, if you want to make like a passion project, something that you have something to say, and you want to say it in a certain way. You don't want to pander to commercial, you know, whatever. You know that the way you're raising money for that project is different from the way you're raising money for a film that you want to put in the cinema. You're making a commercial film. You know, it's art, but you can control, you know, the trajectory and how it goes. So this is something you decide from the moment you start to think about the idea. You know that, okay, this film is for festivals, right? It's a cultural something I want to say, something about society, an important story to you, and you know that it's probably not going to bring a lot of people to the cinema, and you have to be honest to yourself. You will know, you know. And then, so how you're raising the money for that? Of course, you're not going to be looking for investors, you're not going to be looking for loans, you're not going to be investing your own money, hoping to recoup it back. That pathway takes you to funds from donors, grants, you know, pre-sales. So find, maybe there are cultural networks that are interested in those kinds of content. For instance, when people want to think of distribution in Nigeria, let's say in the digital space, beyond cinema, they're always thinking Netflix, you know, Prime, beautiful. But there are other, you know, platforms that would give you money up front to make the film. And everybody that is in the film is getting paid, including yourself. So that by the time you deliver the film, you're already paid. So even if you don't make money from whatever other source, just because of the nature of that type of film, then you're good. But if you're making a film for the cinema, then you know you're doing your projection, you're treating it like a purely business. It's like you're starting a new company. I tell people every film is a startup. You know,
take for instance, if you're talking catering, it's months, you know, or hotel accommodations, or your transportation. It's crazy right now in production. So what most of us try doing, because not everybody can get the 300 million, 500 million, because right now, to be honest, 150 million is like low budgets.
Yeah.
true.
And this used to be maybe 20 million or 30 million before. You know, now if you are making a 100 million naira film, to be honest, yeah, you're struggling because you want to hire the best crew, you want to hire the best cast, and nobody is hearing there is no money. Everybody wants to get paid. You know, so 150 million is like this. You know, for this big blockbusters film, you're thinking from between 300 to 700 million naira to make the film, and then you're already in your head thinking, how am I going to make this money back? You know, so one of the things that is really advisable is collaboration. And also not being greedy. I think we're a very greedy economy. We like the me factor. I made it. It is me. I. You know, you don't want to share your percentages. You don't want to share credits. You don't want to share anything. But when you now think about that and put everything in perspective of how much cash do I have right now? What can I pay for presently? And what can I pay for? Who can I bring on this project that is on same wavelength as me, that has same vision, that would understand it? I could perhaps hire a director, and instead of paying the director maybe 6 million or something, I can say, oh, it's why Epic is sweet right now. Because just go to the village. You know.
Cheaper, right?
Well, I don't, it's not cheaper. It's not cheaper. It's not cheaper because to get the extras you need because that's what also gives them that skill when you are watching the film and you are seeing over 500 people, you know, and stuff. So it's not like it's cheaper, but maybe it's more, maybe accessible is the word I would use. Because when you want to do glamour, we don't have mansions anymore, my brother. There are no mansions. So when you want to film, if I want to film a luxurious film, I don't have any house to use. You know, someone can tell me, pay me 500 naira per day. And maybe I need that space for over 1 week. Where will I get that money from? You know. So no thanks to our music and commercial people, because they are the ones.
When you go to bigger brands, when you go to international brands who basically are being represented in Nigeria, before their brand can go to one film, they will think of all kinds of implications, you know, and the fact that it's out of their control in respect to, you know, it's out of the control of the head office, you know, when they allow their brand to go into a film in that kind of space. For them, they're afraid, what if it's used in the wrong way? What if, just the fact that it's just too much, right? And they'll just say no to it. So sometimes it's not even the money, it's the risk for the brand not being in total control. In America, they're in control. The guys are next door. They will go to the film place. They will see how they're using their brand. They will tell you how their brand should be used and how it should not be used. And they also have worked with some of these people for a while, so they understand those things. So I think that the film industry needs to start looking to the local brands or local items. And at that point, the exchange is mutual. You need me, I need you. It's not, oh, you need me more than I need you. So at that point, there is that mutual, so they can be a lot of better. So for instance, if the person can only give you drinks, okay, how about giving drinks to everybody that is on set? So then you don't have to cater, you don't have to buy water, you don't have to buy all those things. So that's what I just wanted to add. And secondly, as she said, use experts. What experts do for any business, anything actually, it just make things easier.
Very expensive.
So she said, collaborate, share your on this. The way the consultant will look at your story and your film and will be able to look for the opportunities for the brand to speak their language, to tell them how it will work. Will be different from the way you, the filmmaker, is going to tell the brand. But at that point, it's going to tell you, okay, if you can't pay me, I'm going to take 30% of the money. And you'll be thinking, if that brand brings 50 million, you mean you're going to take a whole, are you the one shooting the film? Are you the one, you start getting that in your head. Right. But you forget that you would not have had access to that money unless that guy who has the expertise to translate what you're trying to do to the people that he's been working, or he or she's been working with a lot. So that's just what I wanted to say. So try to use local brands, and then if you have to try to also work with experts.
You'll let me know when you start?
I'm ready.
Okay. My name is Ike Nebre. I'm a filmmaker and a cultural entrepreneur. I am here at EMTA Conference and Awards. It's a beautiful space where we're discussing the future of the media industry, and it's been very insightful. Listening to the keynote address from the CEO of TVC, very insightful keynote that she's shared. And during our panel, we also I got to learn a lot of things from my co-panelists, and I'm thankful for the opportunity to share my own journey and some of the things that I think that is important as we chart a new way forward for the industry.
Okay, so what would you like to say to a young fellow that is trying to come into the movie industry in Nigeria?
Well, I think the first thing that is important is to make up your mind that this is what you want to do for life. Once you are able to see it as something that it's a lifelong pursuit, then you understand the importance of digging deep, of your knowledge base, in terms of your connections. So it's important to begin to connect with people in the industry. And sometimes when people talk about connecting with people in the industry, the young people who are coming up are always looking at people who are already up there. It's good to connect with people that are already out there, but the most important connection is to connect with the people that are with you, the people that are coming in at the same time, and you're networking and you're hustling, because some of these people will go on to become great industry giants like you, and it will be great to build history, and you leverage on that as you grow.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Okay.
Key verticals for me when it comes to talent retention. One is capacity building, which is training, which is equipping people with all of the skills that they require to do whatever it is that they're doing at the highest levels. It's the marked difference between the developed world and the developing world, quite honestly. Across all areas of life, it's understood that whether people have the talent, like he said, or whether it's something that they just picked up as a profession or a career line, those people deserve the training opportunities to elevate their levels to the highest place possible. So whether it's a flutist or a producer or a dancer or a skit maker, a cinematographer, whatever the area that you decide to focus on is, there should be institutions, whether they are educational institutions, formal educational institutions like technical schools or universities, where people can go to and pick up those skills and develop them, or whether they are informal sort of training opportunities that people can leverage. In Nigeria, there is a shortage, an acute shortage of such opportunities. For instance, there's a seasoned filmmaker in the house who would attest to the fact that, and of course, she's also into the film industry. In terms of number of aspiring actors and actresses and people who want to do film, if you compare the opportunities for training that are available, it's almost an artist, because every performance is a shutdown. It is full value for money. It didn't come from someone laying hands on him. It came, it's the truth.
That's right.
It didn't come from going to church and praying. It's a skill that has to be acquired. And there are no schools where those are taught in Nigeria. That's why you go to a hotel for Dirty December concert. The song is big, the guy comes on stage, but it's a disappointment. He's just prancing from one end of the stage to another, pointing the microphone to the people to sing back as in, and you're just like, what is all this? And it's the reason, though most people don't link it, why people are reluctant to pay top dollar for concert tickets. A lot of people want to go to those concerts for free because there is no value for money. It's the truth. I'll give you an example. In the US, where I partly live, I remember shortly after COVID, when the world opened up again and people started going to shows and all those things, there was a Chris Brown concert, and my sister-in-law, that's my wife's younger sister, she's a huge Chris Brown fan, and he was having a show at the Madison Square Garden, and the baseline ticket price was $300. She used to work for Air Canada. During the lockdown, she was let go. This person who was collecting unemployment benefits from government, a check of I think $1,000 or something, she was willing to buy a $300 ticket to go and watch Chris Brown out of that $1,000. You know why? Because she could expect a minimum level of quality that will not fail. What you expect to be, oh, we're proud of what these guys are doing. Yes. And I already hinted it a little bit. But there is no domestic market for Afrobeats. 99.9% of the monies Afrobeat is making is being banned in America.
Yes.
All of our top artists are signed on to foreign record companies. In fact, the only functional record company we have, over 50% of the stake in that company has just been taken up by Universal Music. That's Maven Records. So in a short while, Maven Records will not belong to a Nigerian anymore. The Nigerians there will be employees. Now, the saddest part of that is that Afrobeat artists or Nigerian Afrobeat artists do not earn money from Nigeria. Their streaming income all come from the diaspora, the UK, France, and the United States. They don't make money from Nigeria. Nigerians don't stream. Nigerians are more aware of streams like River Okum and places like that than DSPs. Of course, there are economic challenges. People have to worry about what to eat, what to drink, what house rent, NEPA bill, and all those things first before they stream. Now, all over the world, that's not an anomaly. What is the bigger anomaly is that the biggest revenue source in music is not streaming. It is what we call live, which is live performances, right? So the other day, someone reached out to me and said they wanted Cisco to perform in Nigeria. I don't know how many of you remember Cisco. He sang on List the Dragon, Thong Song, all of those songs in the early 2000s. Huge artist at the time. But he's now, faded. as we like to say, you know. So, long and short, they wanted to bring him to Nigeria, right? And this person was talking to me in April for a December show. And he was talking regularly. That's how they make money. Someone was talking the other day on the Instagram Live about, oh, how much the big Nigerian artists made. I was saying Burna Boy would have made about $100 million or whatever. Most of that money, whether it's factual or not, you know, we know Burna Boy is making a lot of money, and most of that money is coming from being booked to play live. He played at the MetLife Arena in New Jersey. It's a 35,000 capacity stadium. His money was $3 million. His own money, that's net profit, was $3 million. I can count over 200 Nigerian artists that don't make half of that in a year. How? There is no domestic market. So we have to create markets where, on a weekly, are you trying to tell me that Two-Face Idibia doesn't have fans in the 36 states of Nigeria that can come out and watch him once a month? Ask yourself, when was the last time you played a show? The concert venues don't exist. The one we have in Lagos, a hotel, is not a concert venue, it's a convention center. Isn't it a shame that as big as Nigeria is, there is no bespoke concert venue in Nigeria? Rwanda had a genocide 30 years ago that wiped out 3 million people. Most of them were killed in Kigali. Kigali now has a BK Arena, a 15,000 seater. Nigeria does not have a war we don't have. I hear one is being built now somewhere in Oniru area. But you see, when the question is, after it's built and it's ready, will Nigerians be willing to pay top dollar to what people mind me? I don't want people to be doing karaoke. It's the truth, that's what they do. It's karaoke, DJ track 2, that's karaoke. I can do it in my house, I can do it in my car.